Eid Mubarak to my Muslim brothers and sisters out there, and hello, thanks for joining the Tuesday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. Let us use this opportunity to greet everybody celebrating you from the studio, Cyril Abakul and Mr. Yinka Oyegbile.
Thank you.
It's a festive period and everybody's happy here.
Very, very.
Now, today on the program, blame game trails of Butch Rivers by-election as APC accuses Governor Wike INEC of Scotland the poll. Also on the show, Buhari orders security chiefs to step up anti-terror war, and Boko Haram kills 19 in Borno State. I'll be hanging out with Olayinka Oyegbile and Cyril Abako. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. The concept of election predisposes that political leaders vying for elective offices emerge through popular choice. But in our climate, latest political happenings suggest that elections are becoming some sort of worse reserved for the highest bidder. More pathetic is that in some parts of the country, elections are becoming the biblical kingdom. You know, the word that suffered, the kingdom of God suffered violence, and the violence taken it by force. That's what's happening in Rivers, South Nigeria. It's gradually becoming a theater of electoral violence. This scenario played out again last Saturday when the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, had to suspend the by-election in Port Harcourt indefinitely over outbreak of violence in many polling units. It is proving difficult to get what went awry as stakeholders in the contest have continued to trade blame. In such a situation, taming the flame could be cumbersome. Cyril Abako is from the South region and is also a senior researcher in Television Continental. And Cyril, I've had to cover election in the South, that region, particularly Port Harcourt, since 1999. When you look at the Sergeant, I would say, versus
Peter
Odili. I think in 2003 it was the same, I would say, versus Peter Odili, the major gladiator still. You had 2007 when we had. But more than before, it has always been a factor, violence, cultism. This time around is not what we're experiencing in other parts of the country. That's, you know, the threat to election is, you know, money politics, vote buying. But the threat to election in Rivers State is violence and extreme violence.
Yes, Ayo, you've said it right. I mean, if what we saw in the introduction is anything to go by, where we say that the violence was widespread and that there was violence across several polling units, somehow I am wondering how somebody who wants to sponsor violence can coordinate violence across those polling units almost simultaneously. It seems as if the team that was already ready was there, and maybe some people are waiting. Let it come, and then you know we can push it. What I blame the most, there are two factors. One is that you see where you have where you have a bipolar power structure, where there are perhaps identifiable two key political godfathers in the state, and you know, and they have come from the same political family before. And so now that they are divided, they understand their language very well. Very well. And so if you give it to me, it's easy for me to give it back to you. Now, it is easy for someone on the ground to say, candidate A or candidate B looked better to win the election. But the other party says, if I can't win the election, nobody else will win. That's one. But you see, my concern is that you were there in Port Harcourt, and you told us how there were checkpoints at almost every 10 meters, every 20 meters. Violence still happened. The concern is that, you see, between one election and the other, nobody wakes up to do anything by way of engaging the electorate. Because you cannot tell me that you want to douse tension at election time. Nobody does that. Money is flowing, tensions are high. In fact, when the quest to win an election is like a personal battle between men, it is difficult for one person to fold his arms and say, let the best winner win. Because, see, the fact is this. Normally, violence has a name in law. It is self-help. If you're in an electoral process, you saw what happened in Ekiti, where Professor Olushola said he was going to go to court. If an electoral process was fraught with fraud, there are ways to seek redress.
Yeah.
But somebody says that if I so think that the process is not going as it should go, I can do something to change it. I have what it takes to seek redress by myself.
Just hold on, hold your gunfire there. And Yinka, to call a speed, from my own findings,
yes,
it's just a supremacy battle between Governor Nyesom Wike and the Minister of Transport, Rotimi Amechi.
Definitely.
And it has been like that.
Definitely.
And the alarming thing is that nobody has been able to broker peace between these two people. And it's going to be like this. And we thank God that no life was lost.
Yeah.
But we don't know what could happen subsequently. It's 6 months to the 2019 general elections.
Well, let me first of all start with a Yoruba proverb that if you throw a knife up 20 times, it will land by the flat side. There is no any other way that the knife will land. It will land with the flat side. We've said it before, and we are repeating again today. For as long as election is going to be held in Rivers State, it is still going to be the same thing. Just as we have said, it is a battle of wits between Governor Nyesom Wike and the Minister of Transportation, Amechi. And the only person, from my own point of view, that has that larger-than-life figure and the reputation and the gravitas, if he's going to use it, is the president. If the president calls the two dramatic personnel into a closed-door meeting, sit the two of them down and tell them that, look, this election must hold. I don't want any violence to break out. If anything happens, it doesn't matter. Amechi, you are a member of my party, and you are even the director general of my campaign. Nyesom Wike, you are a governor. A governor is, the president is the head of the country, and as the president, I can use my power to act on you. So the two of you, no, I don't want to know how you will solve it. You must go and solve this problem. I believe it will be solved. Because the two of them, it is a case of Ikem Nwanko's my Mercedes is bigger than yours. In this case, my ego is bigger than yours, or my own violence is bigger than your own violence. I can wreak more violence than you do. If the president can call the two of them together and warn them sternly, there's nobody that can convince me that the problem is not between the two of them. As he has said, they were together before. They know how elections are held in the South-South, and they know how they declare election results. So it is a case of, if I can't win, you will also not win, and we must scatter everything.
Yeah, you know,
we should not be allowed.
My own intervention here is that it's not just, you know, thugs, hoodlums participating in this. The last election, we were told by some officials of INEC, as a part of the reason that they cancelled the whole exercise, that those thugs were being led by security agencies. And you want to look at, on both sides,
that is,
you want to look at how dangerous that is. They were guarded by these security agencies to wreak mayhem.
Ewa, you know, this thing, and this is just a by-election.
Only
into the
for the next how many
state
months?
of assembly. I think it was during the Bayelsa governorship run that we had gunboats, about 8 gunboats being deployed to. I think that, you know, perhaps because it's an oil-rich state, perhaps because the resources at stake are much higher, and perhaps because, you see, our political process...
And proliferation of ammunition.
I'm coming, yes, I'll come to that. I think it was in 2003, after the re-election, that Mossop came up and said, look, we need to get back these guns that have been used by thugs to win the election. And the government wasn't really paying serious attention to it. Some weeks later, we started seeing this militancy thing coming up. So, but let's come back to what happened over the weekend. You know, it clearly also demonstrates the culpability. Now we see the APC accusing the PDP counter-accusing the APC, the other party accusing INEC and so on. Look, it's that this is the bare face of the Nigerian political system, okay? Where somebody who is in power will use everything at his disposal. And that's not politics, that is brinkmanship. Use and politics. Yeah. Use everything at your disposal to get what you can get. Because in the end, the end would by its own self justify the means. I think that, like he has rightly pointed out, Mr. President needs to get them together and reasonably say that, look, my party notwithstanding, the fact that I'm the person notwithstanding, we need to get it right in Rivers State. Ayo, the concern is that, you see, when these tensions are so high for another by-election, we had it in Taraba.
In only 8 wards.
The Taraba APC said, look, we don't like the outcome of this election, and we are going to go to court to contest the outcome. It happened in Kogi, it happened in Kaduna, where the PDP said, we don't accept the result of this election.
Too, we are going to go to court. They're in court.
It happened in Ekiti, after the elections. They said, okay, we're going to go to court to contest it. Do you know that Nigerian politicians don't have any faith in the judiciary? It is the last place they want to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Their thinking is that what you can get for yourself early in the day, get it. Because heaven will help those who help themselves. So if you can get it now before we go to court, I think that it's a holistic thing. Now, if you want to fix this process, the Rivers by-election is a test case. But I think that the Nigerian political process needs broader reforms. There is no guarantee that anybody is going to be prosecuted for electoral offenses.
That is the problem.
So there is no guarantee that for even carrying a stone or for you saw how even you are in Ekiti now. They say if you voted, once you vote, leave the polling unit and go back. Hope I'm correct. Go back to your house. Why don't we look at what we do in one place and see if it worked? Let's see how we can also deploy it to another place. If the and again, look, quite frankly, if it can be established beyond doubt, notwithstanding what we know, if it can be beyond doubt that, look, security agencies were directly spearheading this whole thing, I think
not spearheading it, but giving them the necessary support.
You see, we can begin from there. We can begin from there to say.
Are they not in uniform?
They should investigate
have name tags. I mean,
where is the police report for what happened over the weekend?
Nothing. I don't think
the police report?
We don't know how objective.
This was a state where policemen attached to the governor and attached to the minister almost came to shoot at one time.
At one time. So what do you?
What are they looking for?
Because I wanted to ask you earlier that. This is just like a deja vu of what we experienced during the last administration. Nyesom Wike was a minister and Amechi was the governor. And at a point in time, you had situation of altercation, and sometimes if Amechi is Nyesom Wike is coming to town,
can I tell you something? See, I'm from Rivers State, okay? There is this there is a psychology of the ethnic divides in the state, where the governor's part, which is also Amechi's area, okay?
Yes.
May be seen to have this sense of entitlement. Is it where I am that you want to come and take something? Who are you? I'm a man, you're a man. Let us try it out. So, you know that feeling? So it's like saying, what I take from you, I hold firmly. The fact is that, you see, whatever it was that went down, Amechi's candidate, Peter Side, lost the governorship. Wike won the governorship. Now, Wike will have to establish his own structure
to show that exactly.
One.
But they are not in the same party.
Hold on. Nigerian politicians are to strengthen his own, to strengthen his base, to consolidate his power, and so on. In the APC today, you know, there's schism. There's the Magnus Abe faction.
Magnus Abe.
And there is the there's the Amechi faction. You see, the question is that even within the APC, there's a battle, so that whichever of the factions is able to win. I mean, if assuming that Amechi faction is the one that's producing this, the
candidate for the election, by-election,
is a plus to their faction.
Yes.
I don't know how that will pay Magnus Abe.
Okay.
So you see, on the face of it, it's a PDP APC thing. But
intra-party.
but the intricacies and the complexities go beyond PDP, and APC. This is a crass clash of interests. Where we say, look, if you win, where it becomes a winner-takes-all situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, and as I've said before, I look at it from two perspectives. The first is the issue of the politics or the politicking that goes into it. The other factor is that must we continue to have elections this way in Rivers and Bayelsa? No.
Particularly Rivers.
How do we engage?
We went to Bayelsa. There's a sharp difference between Bayelsa and Rivers State. Bayelsa is relatively peaceful.
It is just between those two dramatic
How
if the president can bring them down and tell them the home truth and tell them that, look, I don't want to take this nonsense again. The two of you must find a solution to this. I mean, when the Niger Delta problem was rearing its head, God bless his soul, the late Musa Yaradua called the Niger Delta governors and told them that, look, if you guys don't solve this problem, and at the federal level, if we find a solution to it, don't come and complain. Was it not the time that they all banded together and found a way to address it? So if the president cannot or does not call the two of these people, look, if you take the two men out today, there will be a problem in that state.
Okay, how did they have access to military, our security?
The two of them, the one is a governor, one is a minister. What question are you asking? Are we not, we are living in Nigeria, we know all these things. The even ordinary local government chairman has his own access to arms and all these things. So talk less of a minister at the federal level and a governor that controls a vast budget. That is it. If the two of them can bury their ego, what is at stake? Are the two of them really fighting for the issue of the common cross river state man or woman?
Siri, at what point in time did the enmity became so intense, and because the relationship between Nyesom Wike and Amaechi,
yes,
this was your SSG at a point in
Chief of Staff.
Chief of Staff.
Yeah.
At a point in time, you nominated that person to Abuja to serve as minister.
Yes.
And from what I gathered, even the actualization of Amaechi's mandates was facilitated through, Wike, that Amaechi wasn't in the country. It was Wike that was attending the court cases and everything. So how did it get to a point of no return?
Can I give a little background? The distance between the second and fourth republics is a bit long, okay? But in between, there was a third republic. We had Governor Rufus Ada George as governor, Peter Odelia as deputy governor. I think from the information available to me, I think Amaechi was supposed to be a commissioner, but perhaps they thought he was too young. So he nominated someone. But Amaechi was already a strong mobilizer for politics in the state, okay? Now, so when Peter Odelia became governor, when the fourth republic came, Odili, who was deputy in the third republic, became governor. He had a deputy. Look, he had Amaechi as Speaker of House of Assembly. Yeah. And then Wike was also had successfully worked his way into the corridors of power. Then
I think at the point in time, local
local government chairman,
very strong, big local government.
So you see that he was the first to reckon with, but there was a sort of hierarchy. It was when Odili didn't want to hand power over to Amaechi and Celestin became governor.
Okay.
Amaechi and Odili had to sort of part ways. Somehow, to cut it short, Wike was with Amaechi up until he went to Abuja. I don't know how to describe this now, but whenever a governor nominates someone to go to Abuja and the person becomes a minister, Abuja, there's always this
even a senator.
Oh, sure,
exactly.
Sure. So that friction grew so deep, and because the regional presidency wanted Amaechi out by all means because of the issues they had. Yeah. They found in Wike the closest available, capable, competent hand that could match him structure for structure. Yeah. That could, you see, because please don't take this away. Even if we don't call it violence, boldface.
Yeah.
Boldface for boldface.
Yeah.
Okay? So they saw in Wike so a strong... Otherwise, the fact is that both Odele, Mejia, and Amechi come from the upland. There was a quest that perhaps should go back to the riverine. Opobo, Calabar, or Kreka, whichever one, you know. But to cut it short again, when Wike became the arrowhead of the new opposition to take over power in Rivers State, by then Amechi had already gone to the APC.
Yeah.
And because of the stronghold, this is not even a matter of rigging, because of the strong sentiment Rivers State has for the PDP,
yes,
Wike naturally emerged as the leader of the party.
Yeah.
That was beyond argument.
Yeah.
Okay? People like Abiy Sekman even queued behind him. And the fact was that Peter Odele was still in the party. And to this day, Peter Odele, Wike bows to Odele as he said it openly.
Yeah, during his 70th birthday.
So you know, so you can see that whereas the PDP, Odele and so on, sees Amechi as someone who has issues with them, and someone who eventually left the party, they are seeing that to let Amechi, I don't know what that is, to give Amechi any kind of mileage will be seriously inimical to their own interest.
Exactly.
This is a question of the establishment in Rivers State. Yeah. Against somebody who played the rebel.
Yeah.
Whom they consider to have played the rebel. So it's a strong pull and it's a strong push. What I wanted to add earlier was that even if you take away Amechi and Wike, among the people, they have been galvanized and mobilized enough to
see themselves,
to own the battle. That is where I have issues. My thinking is that, look, this is a political process. It is not. We are not in an animal kingdom. Yeah. And so, when you see that these states have tendency of higher volatility, we need to be investing in voter sensitization, voter enlightenment, to engage, so that even if we cannot take it away overnight, we can substantially do damage to the quantum of potential violence that could come up during the election. But we are not doing that, and that's why you see for a Fadin. For a Fadin, you can mobilize an entire ward. Complete. That's why you said you were saying that there were just 7 or 8 wards. Yes, only 8 wards. That was where the election took place. The entire security that was mobilized to that place couldn't quell it. So what happens when it is the statewide or nationwide? Do you understand? If that's not complicity, what else is it? So that ordinary 8 wards, the police and mobile police could not effectively. That means, and we saw them brandishing these cars. That means if the Independent National Electoral Commission, they're going to conduct election the same day. All over the Rivers State, all over, including Rivers States. Yeah. I don't know what will happen. They will be spread thin. And for instance, you also spoke about... I thought they should allow every other state to conduct their election and all the security in Nigeria to concentrate on Rivers State. Now, you know that even if you look at it in literature, in life, in everything, the best of friends, whenever they fall out, the enmity between is always very, very tough. So I'm not surprised with what is happening between Wike and Amechi. It is the same thing, both biblical literature and in all facets of life that is playing out. The best of friends, when they fall out, they become the worst enemies. And it is what is playing out. But in all of this, as we have emphasized before, what is in it for the ordinary Rivers State man? Nothing. Or the constituency in that place. Exactly. It is just the ego battle between the two of them. And unless this is dealt with, if they do election in that place 20 times, it is the same thing that will happen. Because if, for now, Amechi is still feeling bitter that Wike won that election. And Wike himself, you can see it in his visage, in his action every time. When he talks about the federal government or the election, you can see it in him. He's growing that, yes, I won you, and there's nothing you can do for the next 4 years or the remaining part of this, at least from now till 2019, he's still the governor. He will still behave as a governor. That's the... I wonder... Will not take so. I wonder sometimes if Amechi would sit down in his office or in his home and watch that man talk, he will feel very bitter. The same thing if Amechi is talking.
we feel the same thing. So it is just going to be like that. I don't know.
On a final note,
Yes.
at any point in time that I'm going to Rivers State to cover an election, you know, I'm always very, very prayerful and because whatever happens, when you look, but I discovered that, you know, people on ground there, they will tell me that from house to house, there's one kind of gun or the other. And that's where we start from. I don't know about Lagos. Maybe some areas in Lagos, maybe Mushin, maybe, you know, some isolated areas. Okay. That's where you find something like that. But in Port Harcourt, they said it's no longer a big deal when somebody is shooting to the air and people might not be scampering, depending on the sound of the gun that is coming on the you know, before they take you serious. So how can we address this proliferation of arms in the entire state, cultism and proliferation of arms?
Somebody told me one time that anarchy itself is lawlessness governed by laws. You see, like they say in my language, that if a blind man tells, and I've said this thing several times, if a blind man tells you to run, it's because underneath his feet, he has stepped on a stone. That's his confidence. Even if every house had 10 guns, they don't own those guns for themselves.
No.
You know, so you get my picture. There is somebody behind them that is saying, those guns are held instead for deep pockets. Yes, for people. And so what we need to do is to deal with the political class. What is the orientation? What do they seek to achieve? And how can we redirect the energies of... Look, you see, I think that somebody will invest in violence when he has a guarantee that violence is going to pay him.
In the long run.
In the long run.
Don't forget that the Niger Delta struggle, the Asari Dokubos of this world, they started from this river state. They were involved in the 1999 election.
Exactly, and they will still... Look,
so,
this thing, unless these people are brought to an agreement to say that, look, it is not a do-or-die affair. Political contest is just like football. You enjoy the fun, but we don't take it like that, or they are not taking it like that. It is a case of, I must win, and if I don't win, nobody must win.
You say why? My solution to this issue will be this, because the fact is that trust died long ago and was buried in the Red Sea. Not in the Red Sea. What can be done is this. If INEC can pay, if INEC is willing to get this right, let them talk to the policemen once again. Let them hire the media to cover the whole election, beam it live to the world for everybody to see.
Will it stop these people?
No, but you see, it will. It will. If that doesn't, if that doesn't, we'll come back and think of something else. But you see, let us put the whole process on TV.
Would that not be endangering us?
No, it won't. If we fly our drones or take our obi vans there, whoever wants to cause violence, we can see him on TV. So the discussion becomes different entirely. But if we don't do that, this issue of that president should call them together and discuss, it's fine. But I feel that, you see, somehow it's as if the discussion and the debate went beyond that point some time ago. This violence that you're seeing, let the DSS and the police and the NIA come here on GH and come and tell us that they didn't see it coming. As a mark of their own incompetence or complicity, let them come here and say that they didn't see it coming. So who was to deceive who?
Okay.
And all those who are in uniform that were captured on TV and by video or by still camera, what has happened to them? Is it that they are nameless? Is it that they are faceless? They know all these people.
Investigating.
Oh, how many months?
How long it takes for investigation to arrive at
2011 or 2015 investigation, we have not seen the result.
All right, gentlemen, we go for this break. We'll take this breather. When we come back, we discuss more. It's still Journalist Hangout. If you're watching us, we'll be right back after this time out. Welcome back. It's still journalist Hangout. We're reaching you live from Television Continental here in Lagos, Nigeria, and we're looking at the Rivers State by-election. And in 2015, Syria, your states, at the same time, while we're having other states monitoring election in the states, by that time I was in Daura, I was in Katsina State, and I was monitoring what was happening in Rivers State all the way from Daura.
Yeah, you're still interested in Rivers.
In Rivers. And at the point in time, I was told that, you know, the Honorable Minister now was going about looking for result sheets. As in, those things, those materials actually came without result sheets, you know. They understand this strategy, and they know the way these things work. That if he said if he doesn't find that result sheets, that he's not going to vote, and directors will not to vote. But at the end of the day, whatever might have happened, they went to courts today. The Supreme Court upheld the election of Nyesom Wike. Now, is what they take to the courts that the court will adjudicate upon. But was that a reflection of what the Riverian, what they wanted?
Well, what I would say is that, like I said, there is a strong sentiment. And you know that in the political process, a little thing that happens in 24 hours can change the course of the outcome of an election. It was a let me be upfront with you. There was this feeling that a man that they accepted, a man that I was in university when the Supreme Court gave it Amechi. You remember that case?
2007.
Yeah.
We jubilated. Because where I come from, for instance, I come from Okreka. Governor Celestine Omeya said he was going to destroy some waterfront and so on. And people were praying night and day.
Something Amechi wanted to do now.
No, yeah, so just...
Why were you guys praying? But they said they were using that as...
Just for you see, because some months before that time, in Ubima, the governor's hometown, they had kidnapped someone. So they claimed that people were using it for criminal hideout was far-fetched. But you see, so we were praying that Omeya would be booted out. When the Supreme Court judgment came, we were all so happy that Amechi, the man we wanted, even if we didn't vote, the man we wanted. Because what Supreme Court did was that they traced the mandate from when he lost, when he was...
Yeah.
Are you aware that implicitly it was as if it is our party, but we didn't want to make here. Now, the man we wanted has come. The ANPP was there. There was the AD.
Yeah.
There were so many parties then.
So many, yeah.
But, you know, it was a frenzy that our man, the man we wanted, and when he came into office, you know, he would suddenly take Okada, go to one secretariat and say, why hasn't anybody resumed? You know, he was doing all
those populists.
So you see, I think he had over time built a connection with the people. You can go and see the hospitals he built, schools he built, and so on. He had built a connection with the people, but you see, they couldn't forgive him. Michi left the party where we produced the president's wife. You know, like it may be all sentimental, but there was a sense of our...
And I think they're from the same area.
No, they are not.
As the president's
wife
is from president.
Is from Okreka. Amechi is Ikwere.
Okay. But
So,
from the same
state.
Local government?
No. We speak different languages and it's very, in fact, Jonathan's wife is from Okreka, the riverine part.
Okay.
Amechi is from the upland, Ikwere, and there's a dichotomy. The riverines are the jaws of River State.
Okay.
Who didn't join Bayelsa when Bayelsa was put in 1996. Now, the concern was that, look, you have done so much. We wanted to welcome you, but that he had gone to join the APC. They thought that whatever problem our daughter and you have, we can sort it out among ourselves.
So you've gone join forces
with what they will term an outside. You know, like I said, it may be all
APC is like an outside party there.
They don't want us. You know. So that was the feeling. That was, as at that time at least, that was the material feeling. And so whatever the case was, I wouldn't have expected anyway. You see, and then again, the balance that Amechi now did was that since the PDP fielded somebody from his own party again, which will now give us about 4 governors from the same upland, the APC, Amechi played smart and brought somebody from Opobo, Peter side, Dakuku Peter side. Even then,
they don't have the numerical strength.
It's not a matter of...
It didn't overwhelm the sentiment.
Yes! He could not suddenly change sentiment overnight. So that is to tell you that some people feel it's like taking Buhari to Daura. How do you want to speak all the English from now till tomorrow? Our son, you saw the Eid pictures that came or that were on Twitter just now.
Yeah.
The crowd.
The man had to walk 800 meters back home. No, the vehicle can move.
So if Buhari today says he's going to join another party, at least for Daurao or for Katina, our own is our own.
Yeah.
That was the feeling. So what I'm driving at is the fact that, you see, Amaechi thought that his political, and of course Amaechi is a good strategist, his political masterclass in the state had come to the point where he could now use his personality to dictate where the state should go.
He overrated the stock.
Perhaps. So the hurt was personal for him and was personal to in a way that not only did he lose, the person he lost to was someone that in the scheme of things was coming through as his underling.
Yeah.
It was one bitter pill that too bitter, you know, it was too bitter for him to swallow. And so how long?
That's the origin.
That's why I say, look, somebody may be good enough to win that election. But if I can't win it, even you, a candidate, you cannot go anywhere.
Yinka, way out.
The only way out, one, call the two together, and also all those men in uniform who supported both sides should be fished out and be tried. If they are tried, it will serve as a lesson for others. But the moment you don't do that, people will continue to do it.
All right, we have to move on. It is said that starting good is essential, but finishing strong on any undertaking task is the hallmark of success. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari has sounded it loud that he wants to end his first term in office on high. The president, who recently returned from a 10-day vacation in London, has been firing from all cylinders. First, he vowed to jail more looters in his anti-corruption fight. Now, he's beaming the searchlights on the war against terrorism in the country. At the National Security Council meeting in Abuja on Monday, President Buhari told security chiefs to step up the fight against terror and secure the country. That marching order cannot come at a better time. Boko Haram insurgents had killed about 19 people in Malari village in Borno State on Sunday. So it is time the security chiefs shape up or shape out. Now, we've had them, a lot of clamor, even National Assembly at different times, they've recommended that, you know, it's time to rejig our security architecture, one, and some of these security chiefs might have overspent their time. Some even got to a point of retirement, but it was extended. And President Buhari still seemed to have confidence in these people and is charging them that they have to shape up.
My take is that keeping them in office is the president's wisdom. So that may not come up for much debate for me. What I think we need to do is to ask fundamental questions and to recalibrate what we've done between 2015 and now, and to see where we need to do a little more. It's a good thing. It should be a good thing that President Buhari himself is an ex-military officer, so he will understand their language and know what they need to, what they will need to win the battle. Now, between that time and now, as I said, Boko Haram is still around. We've added the question of banditry. We've added the question of armed robbery, which has, if you've been following the news, kidnapping and so on. What I want to say is that all of these things are fueled by certain beliefs or certain philosophies or certain thought processes. Yeah. And it's unfortunate that when we think about Boko Haram and armed banditry and terrorists, we think of using force to bring it to its knees. But you see, you can kill a terrorist, but how do you kill terrorism?
The ideology behind it.
You can kill a bandit, but there are many other bandits behind him. It's okay to put boots on the ground and helicopters in the air. But you see, I think that the Dapchi question, for instance, is a serious question that should make us to rethink very deeply. In 2013, a radio station was opened in, I think, Kano.
Yeah.
And they said their focus was to countermand Boko Haram's messages. I think we need to replicate that a bit. Because Operation Lafia Dole is a military operation in the north. But we have no, or even this other one you call cat race.
Cat race,
Is it cat race in Benue and Nasarawa and so on. All those are military interventions. We are not dealing with the fundamental question of why are these people doing the things they are doing? The root causes. I have personally suggested that we need to launch a program which we may call Boko Al-Baraka, or Boko Halal, or Boko Dekiao, in the local languages, or even Boko Aminchi, and steadily pump propaganda as you do during war. Because what we are seeing now, I mean, I don't know what they're going to say, whether Boko Haram does no longer hold territories, which I doubt to an extent. Whether Boko Haram is still in Sambisa Forest, they are somewhere, whatever the case is. Because they are in places where they can still get people, keep them for some days. That, for me, I think, is just the height of it. So what we need to do is to intervene more rigorously and more vigorously to say, let's take a closer look at what is really going on and come up with measures. We took the command and control center to Maiduguri the other time. Okay? What has changed? And yet, some weeks ago, soldiers opened fire on or will I say, they besieged, is it an airport?
Yes.
In Zamfara also.
Yeah.
These same things happened before 2015. And almost everything that happened that time is repeating itself. So I think we need to do some sort, go back, as we say, to the drawing board. The member should not be tired of Nigeria by now. Go back to the drawing board and rethink properly. Since Mr. President has said he wants to retain them, it's fine. So what exactly should they now begin to do differently that they've not done before?
Is the bite still there? Since Mr. President, they are serving at Mr. President's pleasure.
Well,
do they still have the bite? Do they still have the drive?
Well, I'm not sure. We have said this before, but what I think, in addition to what he has said, it is not only the military might that is needed now. There is a need to have religious leaders across board and communication experts to sit down together and think of what exactly do we need, what message do we need to pass around to make this thing to sink in. Recently, the military said it has discovered a website where they are recruiting soldiers, or they are recruiting terrorists online. What have we done online to make sure that some of the messages that they are passing out is negated by people who know communication with people who know this religion? Because there is no way you can fight this without getting religious leaders who really understand what is going on, who understand both the Quran, which is the main source or the main thing they are using to brainwash people. That, look, if you look at surah, this is what it says. Don't listen to those who teach you the wrong thing. There are people, a lot of people in Nigeria today or anywhere in the world, they respect their religious leaders, especially those of them who we know are straightforward, are not soiled their hand. These are the kind of people that the military, the government must look for, and communication experts and people who understand communication, psychologists. Yeah. All those, it is a multidisciplinary thing that must be approached, that must be done now. Yes, they've tried before. You know that, of course, we are all journalists. You know that before, every Friday, there will be attack on mosques. On Sunday, there will be attack on churches. But now, all those ones have fizzled out. We thank God for that. So now, these are the areas that must be concentrated on. What did we do right? I mean, what did they do right that made the attacks to reduce. When the president came in, it was as if, well, as the joke then, the body language, everything, they subsided. Now, it's like they are regrouping again. So things must be done, and we must find a way. What is it that they have done that is good? We are talking as outsiders, thinking that, look, the service chiefs have overstayed their time and they have no more challenges. Well, as he said, the president, he who feels it knows it. Who is wearing the shoe knows where it is pinching. The president, being an ex-military man himself, might know, okay, this is where the strategy is failing, and these are the people that I can use to re-strategize. Fine, but we must be carried along. People must be carried along, and this action must be seen to be taken. It is not just, okay, I have confidence in them, but things are still going haywire, and we don't see any action taken.
Okay, Cyril, I got worried when I read the United Nations report last week. And
3 pages.
You know, when the report categorically stated that, look, the major staying power of these people is access to cash. And they went further to indict, you know, the federal government. Will I say it's an indictment? But they stated that they gave money to these people in exchange for Dapchi girls. And I feel that a major way you can use to halt and stifle the operations of terrorists is to cut their supply chain and everything. But the federal government seems to have their back, you know, behind the wall, and they never had a choice, despite the fact that they've been denying till date that, you know, they never gave a dime to in exchange for those girls. But we know better.
Well, what I would say with regard to that is that there are certain aspects of governmental business that is best kept. Yes, but the fact is this, you see, AY, for the, whether, even if the federal government gave the terrorists money, it can still, and I say this with us of responsibility, it can still have been, it could still have been conducted in a way that makes sure that these terrorists don't use that money to get back at the government. It's easy to do. What we fail to, you see, there's no integrated thinking. You can see it in, even if they're thinking integrated, you can, the outcome proves that somebody is not thinking correctly or somebody is not thinking comprehensively. And why do I say this? In modern warfare, this taking a gun and aiming it at the enemy is the last thing you do. Yeah. In modern, is the last thing you do.
It's the last thing.
There is tactical attack, there is strategic attack. Boko Haram shouldn't have got to the internet before we did. They shouldn't have occupied those places before we did. You see, so that's what I'm saying. When they get, it's like when the Dapchi girls thing happened and somebody said that the bus stopped just outside the community, and somebody made the call and said, we have taken the girls, so we're on our way now. And you tell me that somebody was not smart, that somebody couldn't have been wise enough to say, let's approach our telecoms companies and retrieve whoever was making that phone call. Who was to deceive who? So, you know, for me, that's why I say, you must have integrated thinking. It's a network. You have to think critically, think comprehensively, and say, whatever step you want to take, whether it's contingency or whatever, it must find a way to feed into a larger loop. Your broader policy in containing the scourge of terrorism, armed banditry, kidnapping, herdsmen attacks, and so on. It's not just about deploying soldiers and saying, go to that place, you may see them, they'll go and shoot and do and in fact, it is even this same archaic military tradition that makes lies. As we saw in Nasarawa, where they said that Christians were killing people in churches. It didn't. Even the villagers said that they know those who came to kill them. So my concern is that, number one, there must be sincerity of purpose. And as Oyebile has clearly outlined it, look, the question of the propaganda wing of the campaign and the military wing of the campaign are not two separate campaigns, so they are part and parcel of a coordinated effort targeted at one single enemy. So when we gather intelligence, how does that now help to redirect the message that we're passing across? How does that help us to? We shouldn't have soldiers who will say that, look, they've worked more than they should. After 4 months, after 4 years, that they want to go back home. Is there no rule book in the army, in spite of the issue of meeting and so on? Is there no book that should teach us that somebody should not be overstretched?
There is. It's just that Nigeria is not following.
And so, are we not supposed to also prosecute and deal with those who are apparently breaching those rules? I think that if we are the sincerity, see, look, like they say in my place, fish when it wants to go bad, it begins with the head. With the head, okay. Yeah. But you'll be told that if the fish rack goes bad, doesn't mean that the fish itself is bad. So there is enough for us to salvage today. It is for us to make sure that we are sincere in what we want to achieve, and that we get the best men for the best job. General Danjuma said it one time that the reason why the Civil War, even if Nigeria won it, why there was a lot of sympathy for Biafra was because the Nigerian government didn't invest in this perception warfare.
Exactly.
So it shouldn't be a continuous failure.
Your parting shot?
The parting shot is that the war has not been won. There must be a bipartisan group, committee, both military and civilian, that will think together to find a way to curb this extremism. Okay.
Inka, where are we going to take our mates? Okay. We look at Alhaji Haruna Habib. We look at Moji Jamiu.
Yes, where are they? They must come here now.
And that's it on Journalist Hangout. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on our platforms showing on the screen. We're live on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangouts at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. See you tomorrow. God bless Nigeria.